Hey, welcome back. Today I'm going to be doing an update on LinuxHub Arch. So right now it's currently in beta and I have updated it up to version 1.0.2 on the beta version, and that was updated on March 13th, which was yesterday. So got it uploaded and up on the website so everybody can take a look at it. So basically on this update, I added the window decorations, which is the close, minimize, and shut down buttons that are on the window manager, on the window pages themselves. And there is an option to turn them off. I did add an option to make it easier on everybody that doesn't know how to work with OpenBox. So like I said, I'm trying to cater to new users, so try to make it easier for them. So in this update, I'm going to show you how the system works and what I've added to it. And the next release is going to be the official release. So after all the tests I've done with it, everything's looking good on it. And I do have it actually on bare metal now. So we'll be doing official release real soon. And once I get the official release out, what I'll do then is I'll start making videos to show how you can make your own Linux Arch system. And basically all the tools are in these ISOs. So, and the tools are there already. So in both of these betas, the tools to make your own ISO are there. You just have to know how to make the changes to make it custom to yourself. And it's just dealing with like dot files and things like that to make it your own system. And, you know, it gets a little detailed, but those videos are coming in the future. There's just a lot of documentation I got to put together to, you know, to make it understandable, for lack of better words. You know what I mean? Because when I went down this journey, pretty much the only option that was out there for me was to set it up with calamares and this and that. And that was just a pain in the ass, and keeping it updated. I mean, once you get a rhythm going, then yeah, it makes it easy. But I figured there had to be a better way to do it and an easier way to do it. And I basically just came up with my own way of doing it, and it works great. So, and in my opinion, to be honest, I think it's even easier than setting up the whole calamares thing and everything. It's just a simple install and just copying over your configuration files, your dot files, and get your system set up the way you want it. And it's done. But like I said, those videos will come in the future because it's not hard, but it's just, well, if you're doing something like this, then obviously you know that you're in for a tedious bit of work. You know what I mean? Because you're creating your own system, your own customized system. It's not that hard once you get the groove of things and you know what you're dealing with. It's just that I got to get myself focused, you know, because right now work and everything is going a little haywire. And you know, you have to be willing to work through it to get it all done properly. So those videos will come in the future. Just hang tight. I will get them out there and I'll explain it detailed, you know, item by item of how you can create your own Arch Linux system. Just be patient with me. You know, real life has thrown a curveball at me. I don't really like talking about this, but I'll just go ahead and say it. Last Monday, my mother passed away. So, you know, the family, we've been going through some things and stuff. So it's been kind of hectic, and with work being the way it is right now and funeral expenses and all this is, you know, just life, you know, life throws these curveballs at us, and, you know, we just have to work through them. But I don't want to bring everybody down on that. You know, it is what it is. And, you know, that's life. That's the way it works. So we have to keep moving forward. But hang tight. And I promise you, I will get the videos out to teach you guys how to get your own Arch system distro out there, customizable. And it's not as easy as it is easy. It's not as hard as, you know, you may think it is. It's pretty simple. But anyways, I'm going to get this video out on this beta 1.0.2 out. And then, like I said, the next release is going to be the official release. And then after I get that out, then I'll start putting together the documentation and everything so you can learn how to make your own Linux Arch distro. And once you learn, you'll realize how simple it is. But like I said, it's all in there now. And if you want to get in there, play with it, mess around with it, you could do whatever you want with it. If you're smart enough, you'll figure it out and you'll make the changes that you need yourself. But like I said, that's kind of like doing a long shot because I haven't really explained anything about it because it is my own custom installation guide. But those videos will come. Just hang tight and I will get those videos out there, okay? But for now, we're going to take a look at version 1.0.2 beta and see what changes I've made to it and, just take a quick look at it. It won't be a pretty long video. This intro is probably going to be longer than the video itself. All right. So we'll head on over to the virtual machine, take a look at Linux Arch version 1.0.2 beta. And this was released on March 13, 2024. Okay, and here we are on the virtual machine, and I have it loaded up, and this is the standard welcome screen that you get when you first boot up LinuxHub Arch. And this is, like I said, the beta version. So this is version 1.0.2. I just never updated this part of the installer right here, but it is it's 0.02 at the end of the beta. And so this one, it's the same thing. Pretty much everything's the same. So you have the update core repository. So you just do that, update your core repositories and get it set up. And it doesn't take long. It's pretty quick. It's a quick setup and bam, bam, and it's done. And also here on the welcome screen, you have the installer. So to install the PAMAC Software Center, you just click on that and it'll do the whole installation for you. I just think you have to enter your password once and it'll take care of it all. This is an option that it can be done during the installation, but it takes a lot of work. And I was just like, you know what, this is just easy and straightforward. So why not just do it like this? So I just set it up like this and just to make it quicker. Well, not quicker, but just to make it easier, because just coding into the installer is, you have to do a package build and all kinds of things and set it up in there. But this is here. This way, if you want it installed, you can install it. If you don't want it installed, then you don't have to install it. You could just leave it alone and be done with it. All right. And the installer is already done with the PAMAC. So now you can use the software center. But then again, you could always use sudo pacman -S and do whatever. Then on the welcome screen, you also have your theme manager. So, if you want to change the theme up, you can do it right here. So whatever you want to do, you can change colors, you can change the icons, you can change the mouse cursor, you can do window borders, whatever you want to do, you can do it all from here. All right, so I'll just go ahead and close that. And then also you have your wallpaper manager. So if you want to change your wallpaper, do it from here. It's all set up. It's pretty standard. This has all been on the original, so it's all pretty much the same. And just go ahead and set it. And then also you have your panel manager. So right here on your panel, if you want to change the background, you can go right here. You can edit the colors, do all of that. Change the backgrounds. You could panel. If you want to change the size of it, you want to make it smaller, you can make it smaller, make it bigger, put it back, make it go all the way from edge to edge. You can do that. You can do it all. It has a clear window border, so that's why you don't see it. So that's why it appears like it's separated, but it's because it has a clear border to give it that floating effect. So if I maximize the window, you'll see the border on the bottom. So you see it down here, there's like a little area. That's because this panel has a clear border. That's what gives it the appearance that it's floating. All right, so simple, straightforward. All right, I'll go ahead and close that. And then has a link right here. So if you want to visit the LinuxHub website, you can do that. All right, and this right here has the download links to the betas right here, which are version 1 and version 2. And like I said, the next one is going to be the official release. All right, and to remove this welcome screen, if you don't want to see it the next time you boot up, you just click right there and it says welcome screen remove from auto start. It has a little countdown and the message will go away and it's done. Next time you boot up, you won't see it. All right, so yeah, one of the things I changed on here is the panel. I just stylized the 10.2 panel, just made it look good. But you got your regular system tray with your volume and everything, internet down there. And then you got your standard pin applications. For in this case, it's going to be a terminal, file manager, and your web browser. And then you have your application launcher. So this is the XFCE application launcher. And what I did is I just got into these controls, and these controls don't do the same thing that it would do on a normal XFCE desktop. So since it's my own system, I make these buttons, open up things that I wanted to open up. So let's say like the shutdown, log out, shutdown, power, all that. It's my own little custom shutdown right here. So that's it right there. I'll just cancel that. And then this button right here, I believe is for your, it says switch user, which is supposed to be the original intent for it. But if you click on it, it opens up your theme settings. So you can change the themes, do things like that. And then the other button, I believe, is for the wallpapers. It says lock screen, but it's not a lock screen. It's actually for your wallpaper manager. And then the final, which on XFCE, this will be your settings manager. But I just made this into my own little LinuxHub Center. And from right here, you could change everything. If you need to change the display settings, change the screen resolutions. I just made my own little custom thing to change the screen resolution, and you can change it to whatever size you need it to be. And then I got a couple buttons right here, remove window decorations or return window decorations. So let me open up a file manager, and I'll just make that smaller right there so you can see it. So right now it has the window decorations on it. So you have all the controls and all that all around it. So if I want to remove them, I just click on this and see, it made it a full screen again. But also at the same time, it removed all the window decorations around the window itself. So now all of your windows now will have no decorations on them. And like I said, you could just control everything from the panel itself. That's the way I got it set up. I got it set up to where I control everything on the panel. But since I'm trying to cater for new users, I made it so that you can have the controls up there if you need them. But also you can just click right here, return window controls, and they're back now. So now the controls are back on there again. So if you need to maximize, restore, whatever, you want the controls up there in the name, they're back on there. All right. So that's pretty much the little welcome center that I got. And then if you need to do some settings with OpenBox, you just open that up. And you can control your OpenBox configuration. So you can set custom styles. You want the window borders to look different. You can do it from right here. So it's all pretty straightforward. You can set some appearance, windows, move and resize, mouse, desktop. So right now you have 4 desktops or workspaces, whatever you want to call them. Typically, me personally, I always stick with 2, and I name them accordingly. The first one is Compton. And the second one for me is always Watts. So Compton and Watts, baby. Dubs and hubs is the way I roll. And that's the way I set it up. So when I change workspaces, so right now it says desktop 2, but it's supposed to be Watts. So there you go. And then you also got your theme manager, your wallpaper manager, your panel manager, and your software center. So if you decided to install the PAMEC software center from the welcome screen, just click on here and that'll open it up for you. So there it is. So if you want to install software, you can do it through here, but you could also do it through the terminal. And you can close that. And like I said, all that is accessible from up here. All your main controls, you can just access them right here from the application launcher. So you got your themes, your wallpapers, and the LinuxHub Center. All right, so this is just a quick video to show you that this is an update to beta. So 1.0.2 beta, and the next version is going to be the official release. I've already tested it on bare metal, and everything's working good. So that'll be the next step in this process. And along with that step is going to be the tutorial on how to make your own Arch Linux distribution. For most of you guys that want to create your own tutorial, basically, if you're familiar with Arch ISO, then that's pretty much like the first tutorial. The first tutorial is using Arch ISO, which creates your own system and creates an ISO for you. And it's pretty much does that for you. So if you're familiar with Arch ISO, then you're familiar with the first step of the process. But let me open up the web browser and go to Arch ISO. And there's an Arch wiki for Arch ISO. And basically you get on here and you learn everything to do the first process for creating your own system. So what this is going to do is this is going to take everything that you want to do, customize your disk the way you want to customize it, make it look however you want to do it, and you use RHO to create an ISO for you. The problem is that it creates basically just a live CD. It doesn't, well, at least I haven't seen an apparent way that it does a way for you to actually install the system to your system. So it just creates the image and it puts it on the ISO for you. But the problem is getting that ISO to transfer onto your new system. So you can use it as a live CD. And there are other ways that you can put it on your system. But, you know, basically you could just do that with any Arch system. You can use the regular Arch and do Arch install and let the script do all the work for you, which is basically what I did. And then you just customize it yourself. So you're using Arch ISO to create the ISO for you. And that, you know, gets everything set up for you for what you need. And that's the first stage of the tutorial is you get Arch ISO set up. But if you download my ISO, you don't have to worry about Arch ISO and all that. I include Arch ISO and everything needed. Arch install, all of that's included already. So for example, if you do the Arch ISO, you'll get all of these folders right here, all these files, they'll come with it, but they're not configured. You have to do all the configuration yourself. So in this case, everything's already configured. So you got a file right here, like a profile. And on the profile is, you know, this is where you do your customizing. So you put whatever name you want right here. So right here, it says LinuxHub Arch version 1.0.2 beta. So whatever you want to call your system, you just add it right here on this section. But like I said, if you know Arch ISO already, then you already know this part. But if you don't, then like I said, I'll make a more detailed video explaining these step by step. And then during the Arch ISO, your custom scripts, you have to learn where you're setting them up at, and you have to give them their proper, you know, permissions. So basically in here in this script, this is where I got all the permissions to the files you want to edit and do all the changes to make the system your own. But I'll get more into detail into that once I do the installation. And then these folders like syslinux and grub, this is basically just when you open up, like this image right here is the splash screen from when I open up the ISO, and it basically opens up this image, and then you have all your Arch options right here, or your install, or boot up and all that. It loads up right here in this, behind this image, basically. But so like if you're creating your own distro, then you would open up this image. Let's say like I just had it opened up right now in GIMP, and you would just customize it and put whatever you want on it. And that way it'll boot up to your own system. And then you'll look inside of these files, and everywhere where it says Arch LinuxHub, you just change that to whatever name you want to call it. So if you want to call it, King Kong Linux, then just change, instead of LinuxHub Arch, just change it to King Kong Linux, and it's there. And there's other things. There's also this grub folder right here. So let's say grub CFG. I'll open this up in Bluma and see, like right here, menu entry, LinuxHub Arch. So you would just change LinuxHub Arch to whatever. Let's say you wanted to call it Godzilla, King Kong, Frankenstein Linux, Frankenstein Arch. Just change that to Frankenstein Arch, and you'll make it your own. So, you know, it's multiple. You have to look for this name multiple times. So it's in here a few times, and just everywhere you see that, just change it to whatever name you want to call it, and then make it your own. So you have to go through these and just find things like that. And right here, there's this one file called packages. This is where you would add all the programs you want to install. So everything right here is what comes by default. All these right here come default, except once we get to these right here. Once you get to the hashes down here, this is what I added to it. So let's say, for example, you wanted to install a system with KDE Plasma. Then this is where you would add all the installs for KDE Plasma. Now, you cannot put anything that's related to the AUR or nothing like that. You just have to use regular regular Arch Linux applications will have to go here. You cannot put any AUR or Yay applications here. They all have to be just regular Arch applications. All right, and that'll do that. Then you'll play with the etc. folders and things like that. You have your in here a folder called scale. This is where your whole home directory goes. So you get your desktop, your documents, downloads, music, pictures, public. All these are empty, by the way, right now. And then the meat of it goes into the config. This is where you want to put all your settings at. So all your GTK settings, your open box. In this case, it's open box because that's what I'm using. Like your wallpaper, if you wanted to open up the wallpaper that you have customized, then you would copy your nitrogen folder into this. Now, one thing you have to play with and you have to go through all of these. Mainly, let's say like in GTK 3.0, there's a file here called bookmarks. You open this up and you have to see, like right now, it's set up to home, LinuxHub, documents. So it's thinking that the system, the home user is LinuxHub because I'm the one that created it. So I have a script in here that once you're doing the install, it actually changes the name to whatever your home username is. So those are the kind of things that I'm going to go into detail on, because that's what you need to learn how to figure out, is how to change the names of certain things. That way, when you open it up, everything works correctly. So let's say, like, for example, right now we're looking at the actual custom script. But if I go to my hub folder, which I call this user hub, and I go into configs, I go into GTK and look at the same file, which is bookmarks. And right here, it says, it doesn't say LinuxHub, it says hub. So what I did is I created a script to change that name. So I'll go back to ISO, go to the relang folder, root, etc., go to scale. And now I'm going to navigate to the actual installer. So I'm going to scripts, and LH installer is right here. And I have a folder here called move. See right here? There's a folder, a file called move. I'll open this up. Originally I had it all just in, and it was just one long script, but I just separated line by line to kind of make it easier to understand. So like, say like right here, I'm copying, etc. scale and all the files and folders into mount, Arch install, home, and then it has a variable right here for username. So this is why when the script asks you to enter the name that you use during install, it's because it's moving all those files into that folder to your specific home folder. And that's how you get all the files in there so that it becomes your own system. Because if not, then it's just going to be a basic vanilla system if you don't do this. So, you have to know what you're doing. And right here, you're copying other things like icons, themes, and I put some other things right here. And for example, right here, OS release. This OS release file is like for when I open up NeoFetch. Or let me see, in this case, I'll open this up right here. How you get LinuxHub right here to show up and your kernel version and everything. That's what the OS release does, is this file right here. And then another thing is, like, let's say like right here, to get I got my own icon to show up right here also. I basically, there's ways to do it. There's a few different ways to do it. But what I actually did is I made my own NeoFetch file, and I put that in the NeoFetch file. And then when I'm doing the installation, I'm copying my own NeoFetch file and replacing whatever NeoFetch file it installed into there. So that way it's my own NeoFetch file now. So you can see that it's quite detailed of the things you have to copy and, things you have to set up in order to get it your way. And, different systems also, you have to think about things. Say, like, for example, in this system, I'm using LightDM as the login manager. But let's say, like, if you wanted to make it a plasma system, you have to use, I think it's SDDM or something. I mean, you could use LightDM too. It'll still work. But typically, plasma comes with SDDM. So you have to then configure SDDM to do what you need it to do. So it's, like I said, I have to make separate detailed videos for these because it gets very detailed. But if you want to get in there and play with it now, you can. You can follow this. You can basically, if you open this move file. So let me see. Let me get back to it. Let me close this. Let me close this. So it's going to be in your LH installer, and the file is called move. So you open this with a text editor, and then you just follow these and see what it does. And basically, if you follow along, and if you're pretty technical and you understand these things, then you can follow along, and basically you don't need my tutorial to know how to do it. But like I said, it does get detailed, so I'll make a tutorial on it so you can follow along and see what all changes you have to make. Because like I said, I've gone back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And just sometimes, just for one little tedious thing, I'll have to destroy the whole ISO, go back, change that one little thing, and then create a new ISO, and then go back, test it out, make sure everything works right. If it doesn't work right, if I find something else wrong, I'll have to destroy that ISO, go back, create a new one. It's back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. It's tedious work. Like I say, if you want to create your own system and maintain it, I mean, you have to do these things. But once you get a rhythm going, then it becomes easy. But it's just learning that rhythm. And once you learn that rhythm and you get to it, then you can be able to follow it along and things like that. So, like I said, I'm going to have to make a detailed video, and it's not going to be that easy, but I'll get it out there and I'll make it so you guys can follow along and get through it. All right, you guys, I'm going to go ahead and end this video now. It is getting a little long, and, I just wanted to show you that it was the beta, but I figured I'll show you a little things just for those, because I know how it can be. Because when I was in the process of creating my own distro, I was just searching. I searched all the way to the moon and back, of finding ways to do it, how to do it, and what I needed to do. And, I know it can be troublesome when something is not explained correctly. Because, there's a million videos out there that claim that they're showing you how to do it. But in actuality, they're just telling you things, expecting you to already know the majority of it. You know what I mean? They're just telling you, oh, just do this and just do that, and then do this and then do that. But then that's not how it works. You have to know. You have to know. Like, for example, just like put in PAMAC into the installer itself. That's just a whole process in itself right there. Just that little simple thing of putting PAMAX to be automatically installed in your system. It's not that hard. It isn't. I know it's not, but it's just that it's tedious, and it's little things that you have to do. And it's a lot of back and forth, back and forth. So I just figured I'll make the regular system, and I'll just put the PAMAC installer at the end. That way, if you want to install it, you can install it. If you don't, then you don't have to. You know what I mean? Be done with it. All right. I'm done with this video for now. And like I said, the next release is going to be the official release. And then after that, I'll start putting together the tutorials and the documentation and put everything together so you guys can create your own Linux distro. Arch-based distro at that. There's you can, for Ubuntu and Debian base, you can use a Cubic, and that's pretty simple. It's pretty much a whole program that does it all for you. This, you're doing it manually. All right, you guys. Now I'm out.